I'm working on the FG donor ute. I'm taking the wheels off because I want to get those leaf springs out. But first, I'm going to remove that diff, and hopefully that'll go to another person's needs when I sell it. But yeah, I'm going to be gutting everything that's on this back frame of the ute, starting with that shocker. So far I've dropped the diff and the leaf springs. They're not hard, there's only 2 bolts going straight up. You got the main bolt here, and I dropped the shocker, and then just a couple of the lines on there. On this one I'm going to actually I'm going to cut these, the U-bolts on both sides. They're not needed when you change over diff. The person will have those on the other end. Much easier than trying to get the 4 bolts under how I've dropped it, because there's 4 bolts underneath that leaf spring. I could have undone them, but that's, yeah, anyway, I didn't. And so next, before cutting them, I'm going to remove this gas tank because I don't want any sort of sparks going around a dual gas tank. So I start with taking off the tray supports and go from there. Yeah, so it's not those first 2 bolts, it's the 4 bolts under there, but first there's a bolt, 1 bolt under the main frame that locks on, and then we'll remove that bracket, big bracket, isn't it? And yeah, then there's 2 big main ones that hold it at the rear, but I've got to check all the lines and disconnecting first. But yeah, in there. What are you doing? Going for a drive? Having some sun? Cheeky cats. Yeah, so rip that bracket off, which is only a square tanky thing, so that can come off first. Now I've got to just work out exactly what's, obviously there's 2 bolts holding this. Where are they? Yeah, at the back, and the 2 bolts under there. I think they're 18 mils. They're 18 millers, something like that. But I don't want to just remove those bolts, because then I could be some of the lines could hang that are up the top. So I've got to check on those lines first, and then go from there. Just detaching the handbrake cables and the tail shaft. Then I put it on stands. Then I removed the engine hoist and just dragged it out backwards. So now I can cut those clamps off and get the diff off it, and then move those leaf springs over to the ute. And I want to paint them up, make them look nice and new and black. And then later on I'll be attaching those, but still got to get these. I want to still get that gas tank out of there, get the dangerous part of the vehicle out, and flammable, and yeah, then be moving on to the engine. Okay, so this is the right leaf spring on for ratchet that I've got out, and the left one. Gonna have to be cleaned up a bit. Got a lot of drips of oil and bits and pieces. Bring those up new. And the diff that I've just locked up with cable ties some of the wires, but that'll be ready for a new home soon. Put that up for sale. And I've lowered this right down because I've got to see exactly what's holding this gas tank in still, which I think it's got still another mounted bracket down in that corner. But yeah, this is a fixed bracket. Don't know why they didn't make that unboltable, but it's all welded. There's no, I can't see any. It's all been welded, all spot welded on. They should have made this accessible to take off as well, especially if you want to bring the gas tanks up. But sensibility doesn't always go ahead with cars, unfortunately. Not all the time, anyway. So I've got the leaf springs up on the paint stands. I just gave them a nice degrees because they're filthy as. So I'm going to let that sit for a good few hours. And let it work its magic. Here's the other one. It looks like they were originally maybe like a blue. Yeah, they're definitely both like a blue originally colour. It's got some sort of print on here. But yeah, very greasy, very oily. Lots of road time they've had. But we'll get them looking pretty decent by the time they go on. So I'll let them do their degreasing. Oh, and this big canvas thing, they've ripped down the house next door, and they just decided to put some temporary fencing. Three panels of temporary fencing. So every time Dick and Harry walking past can just see straight in. So got that from Bunnings, 3 big tarps, stuck them together and stuck them up on the trees. Gives you a bit more privacy. Yeah, so we'll let that do its thing, and we'll be back. Now I've gurneyed both the leaf springs. You can actually see a bit of writing under all that, where this one was made or the production came from. So I'll give them some dry time now and get it ready for paint. Okay, now I've got the good old gas tanks out. I had to pretty much lift it up because it wouldn't come out up the top with that bracket there. So I pretty much lifted it up again, dragged it out carefully, and then put the back of the tray back on some stands. So she's slowly getting gutted. I want to look, because I'm not sure how to find the stamp date on there, so I'm going to give it a jet wash, give it a clean, see if I can see anything that resembles a date stamp, because I want to see if good old ratchet number 2 is in date or out. So come with me on this journey to find out where they date stamp these tanks. Okay, so getting it ready for its first clean in how many years, I wonder. Anyway, you get the gist. I'll come back when it's nice and clean. As you can see, a lot cleaner. So, where is this date stamp? Alright, so 1 second. Okay, just have to lay it flat. But, the only thing I could see, I can't believe that thing. Leaf still stuck on there. Oh, jet washer. It's the only real stamping I can see. I don't know if that's 2010 or 210, but that's jet wash, and I still. Is there a date in there? No. Something 006. D for date, maybe. What's that down there? Might have to get a magnifying glass and just have a more of a close-up. Okay, so this plug was held in by two Phillips screws there, but what worked out is it says date here, and then it says 06, and then right under there it says 12. So most likely, because it's a 2012 Ute, so June being the 6th and 2012. So it should run out this year in June. That'll be the 10 years for the tank. So surprisingly, this tank is still in date. Some of the flame-proof black paint left, so I'm going to just use that on the leaf springs. Give it a bit of a hand brush and yeah, start making them look a bit more newer than they are. So I've only just done a couple strokes now. Get my brush. You can see how much of a difference that you can bring what looked pretty weathered and old I love finding restoring or making things look a lot better than they were. It's a real satisfaction with doing things that did have some issues, and to bringing it back like you just purchased them from a store. So always think that you can bring things back or make them better just with a little bit of extra work. Oops. Alright. It's going on so nice. It just takes time, a little bit of extra effort, and this also will give the leaf springs a lot more life, because the more weather they have, obviously that's going to affect them. So even if this gives them a few more years, give them an extra coat, just like if it's tiles on your roof of your house. Obviously weathered tiles will last longer if they get a bit of an extra coat and sealing. So just like that, leaf springs are out in the weather a lot, especially on utes. Just giving them another seal will just help them last a bit longer. If you look on YouTube, on leaf springs are bad leaf springs and rusty leaf springs. Boy, they got some really bad ones on YouTube. So yeah, it's good to heat-proof paint. It's really put some sort of really good mixture within the heat stuff. It binds and a lot quicker. Well, it seems to bind a lot quicker than just if I got like an aerosol can. The brushing, it's like I've painted it about 3 times already, but this is the first coat, and it's already really given it a nice finish. Hope everyone's well who watch my videos. If there's something you really want to see, if I haven't done something or anything like that, just let me know. I always like trying new things and learning to do things firsthand myself. If I'm really stuck, I'm like everyone else, I'll probably just watch a video and see how people do it. Or if I can improve on it or learn from it. There's a wealth of information out there, but it's definitely worth watching some people out there on YouTube, because they have there's just a wealth of information that you can learn and do yourself. Just try it yourself, or if you just enjoy just watching, that's always good as well. A lot of entertainment out there. So coming up well. I'm going to keep going with this. Obviously when you've got one hand on the phone or a normal camera, definitely it's multitasking. But yeah, that is coming up really, really good already. Look at that. Compared to the other one, which I haven't touched. They look good, especially Bratchett's got a lot of black paint on it. It's a very black, dark looking ute with all the things I've done it. Nice black leaf springs, and when this goes for its roadworthy, it'll literally look like I've replaced the leaf springs. How good they'll look. But anyway, hey, it's actually come up with battery low on my phone, so good timing. Anyway, I'll continue. My battery's got not much, probably 2%, but I've done one side of both of those springs, one side, so they can dry this evening and a bit more tomorrow, and then I'll flip them over and do the undercarriage. They've come up really, really well. They look absolutely brand new. So yeah, no, great effort.